You sure fucked me up. Pow! PTSD on the daily. You sure fucked me up. Pow! Whatcha? And yes, I'm talking about your baby. You beat me. Anyone that says that album is not a good little album. It's a great album. Every single song on that album is great. Speaking of albums, I'm thinking about getting myself a record player for Reef. I thought it could be really, really cute because I used to have one and then my cat broke it. But I thought it would be really cute for me to get because I really want my room in Reef to be like a detox sanctuary. You know what I mean? Like, if I go, I would love to just have music playing at all times. So I might get a speaker, like a record player speaker, or I might just get a record player in general and just have a bunch of vinyls, like old vinyls, like Elvis and stuff, especially Elvis's country vinyl. Would love that. And if you don't know, it's just basically a collection of all his childhood songs that he's covered. Welcome back to the Messy Girl Hotline, where I crash out on the internet and embarrass myself. Whoop! Anyway, I realize it's a Monday today. I don't know. My life has been very unconventional recently. I was talking about this in the car with my papa on the way to work today, because we work at the same place. And I was just, I don't know. I was talking to him and we were talking about life and how the world's changing as we do at 8 a.m. and shit. And like, my dad's a very, very philosophical type guy. Like I said, in another life, he would be like a drunk artist, womanizer, or like lover in France. And he would be a French man. And he would read books and be an author or be like a philosophy professor. That's my dad. Like the dad from Call Me By Your Name. And we were talking, of course, we have these deep talks in the car at like 9 a.m, 8 a.m. We're talking about the world and all this stuff. And then we're talking about like a conventional life. And he goes, you're going to be the first person ever in our family to have a conventional life. And he goes, a lot of people are going to be upset with you about that. And I said, I know, they already are. Like, my older brothers are very upset that I don't have a conventional life of I need to buy a house and I need to have children and I need to do this and I need to do that. But let's be real. There's only a 10-year difference. They could have done the exact same shit, but they didn't. They probably could have made better investments at my age. But of course they're not going to, because they were like 21 and stupid. Which is like, that's not my problem. Like, I love all of yous, but that's not my problem. And you should not envy me just because I was born 10 years later. Just saying. But I keep saying to my dad that no matter how many people are upset with me, I can't wait to live an unconventional life. If I choose to have kids, whatever, but I don't really want them. I don't want to be raising a child. And let's be real, when a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want kids, they're like, oh, but you would love them because they're gonna run around and stuff. And it's like, no, actually, that's the worst part. That's actually the worst part. I don't want to live that. I don't want to live through that. But on top of that, I don't want to deal with everything after that. I don't want to have a teenager. I don't want to have an adult. I don't want someone relying on me if they get sick or they need money or this and that. Like, I don't want to be a parent. I'm not saying I don't want children. I love children. They're beautiful creatures. And I think they should be nourished and fed with creativity and just every single ounce of love within them. And I should think it should like flow through them. But I don't want to be a parent. No one gets that. Right now my mother isn't speaking to me because I said I do not want kids. Sorry, I don't want to be a parent. Apologies. Ooh. But yeah, I don't want to live a conventional life. I just want to do what I do. Like Maddie from Euphoria. Also, when is that coming out again? Because like, hello? I fucked your mom! That's still on my mind. Ashby? Ashby. I think that's her name. I saw an edit of, basically, it was just an edit of her 10 years ago. And it's her trying and trying and trying and trying to, from going from 5 subscribers to 10 to 100, and her slowly growing, and even to the point where she only just kept doing it until until she did those lives, and then out of nowhere, look, bang, 2 mil. And it was the same with Vanilla. She was posting constantly. It was the same with Chapel Roan, Lola Young. Like, I was thinking about it today at work. I was like, I saw Lola Young years ago when she opened up for David, like D4VD, like Romantic Homicide, that David. Yeah, I saw her open up, and that was a really, really weird night. I saw like an situationship type thing I used to see, and it was really odd because I didn't see him for like months or a year before that, and we just kind of ended things, and I was like, alright, chill, bye. And I saw him for the first time again, and I was like, hello. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? I don't know what to do in that situation. He literally out of nowhere just like pulled the girl that he was with to the other side of the room and was just like, I'm not here, ignore me. And I was like, I was planning on it, but thanks for the heads up, babe. Thanks for the heads up. No, but she was great. And if you haven't heard her song Fake, like by Lola Young, amazing vocals. Like, she is actually the top fucking shit. But no, it was this edit that just like was of Ashby's like career and just what she produced and what she put out there over the years. And it was really funny because it sparked this thing inside of me of like, I am so chill. I am so chill. Because I've said it before, all my favourite creators that I absolutely adore and I love watching are 27, 28, close to 30, and I have so much time to do whatever I want to do. But also I have this immense privilege of being able to create and perform and produce on every single platform that most of these creators did not have. And I don't care if they blew up over time, or I don't care that they blew up overnight. They had their moment, they had their chance, and they took it, and I will have mine as well. But apart from that, I just have to keep going. And whilst having this idea, I actually wrote something on Substack today whilst I was sitting on the train going back home. I actually finished really early today. It was like the first time that I finished really early from work because all I had to do was just clean the building and stuff. And then I just had a couple emails to kind of catch up on. But yeah, I came home really early and I was on the train writing, and I don't know, I just decided to go to the gym after that. It was like a big spurt of like energy, I don't know. Let's see what I have here. Here we go. 11 hours ago is basically just thoughts and feelings, or just simple thoughts I was having. Whew. Oh my god, girl, she can't see. She can't see. Let me just highlight this whole thing. Okay. How do you expect things to change if you remain invisible? For as long as I can remember, people have ridiculed me for putting myself out there. Every move questioned, every post dissected as if my choices were public property. Why are you on every platform? Shouldn't you be focusing on just one, or just focusing on something stable? Why are you trying to be an influencer? Do you really think something is going to happen? The answer is both humiliating and, honestly, liberating. I don't know. I don't know where this is leading. I don't have a roadmap, and I'm not pretending to. What I do know is nothing will happen if I hide. The world doesn't reward silence, it rewards presence. How can you be discovered or celebrated or even envied if your work has never been seen or has never even seen the light of day? Doors don't open for ghosts. So yes, I post, I share, I scatter little versions of myself across the internet, not to perform, but to leave traces, to keep one foot wedged in every single door that might otherwise slam shut. Has it made me rich? Not exactly, but it's made my life comfortable, creative, and more mine, absolutely, especially all the free things I have. Because there's a real reward of freedom, the freedom to create like a child, to explore like an adult, and meet myself more honestly, more quickly than those who cower behind safety of a blank screen. Your life is a portfolio, whether you create it or not. So make it visible. Oh, sorry. Whether you curate it or not. So make it visible. Don't apologize for being seen. Doors open when you knock something. When when you knock sometimes left, sometimes right. Not all. Oh my god, I can't fucking read. Doors open when you knock sometimes to the left or sometimes to the right, but often never all at once. And I thought that was really cute because it's true. I sometimes I do get really, really down about creating on every platform and thinking to myself like, oh, this is nothing. I'm not doing anything. I'm still here. I'm still doing the same thing. And even though I am blessed with this like amount, like this immense amount of privilege to be in a position that I am in, that I get to kind of have a stable career in a way, or at least have a stable living from my family, which is like pretty cool. Like I work with my dad and I love him and he loves me, and we kind of like, it's not like I work for him, like we work together. It's like me and his thing, his business. So I'm really proud that I have worked my way up and I've studied to kind of get into this point. But sometimes I think to myself, like, I'm very privileged that I do have the stable job, but it's also in the sense of like, it doesn't fulfill me creatively because I can't work any way up. I'm already like the owner, the manager, whatever. I don't get paid like it, not for a while, but you know, that's, I guess, the reality of having a child and wanting them to learn like the ins and outs of life. And I'm glad that my dad's doing that. But sometimes I'm like, hello, can you not pay me a tiny bit more? Like, please. Like, I'm below minimum wage. Sometimes I feel so unfulfilled because, you know, there's no way of like moving up. There's no way of like proceeding. I have to do better because, or the business will die. You know what I mean? Or sometimes I feel really fulfilled within what I'm doing and helping people and kind of just being there for people and helping them physically and mentally and all these different things. And I feel so loved in this place of work. I don't know, sometimes it feels really strange because I get these opportunities and I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this, but then it's like full time. And I'm like, I can't leave. I can't leave. And also this is not something I would want to do full time. And I guess it's this limbo of feeling stuck, right? And I just watched a video about this. Let me see. It was by Lindsane, Lindsann. And it's like why you feel stuck. And it's this feeling of, I don't know where I went for a second, but basically what it is it's a video basically just depicting what it's like to feel stuck and not wanting to change due to cuntiness. Oh yeah, cuntiness. It's called the region beta paradox. Is a psychological concept coined by Daniel Gilbert, the same psychologist known for work on happiness. It describes the odd situations where people recover more quickly from worse experiences than milder ones. Mild discomfort is tolerable. You're able to cope with it, copeable. So people just put up with it and never take action. And then severe discomfort is intolerable. So it forces people to act and change and recover. So the paradox may be people may be stuck longer in situations that aren't so bad. So examples being like a city that you live in but you don't love, it's fine, your job pays well, but you know, whatever. But if a city that you live in is awful, such as dangerous, isolating, soul-crushing type thing, you're most likely gonna move because you have to move out of that situation. Why it matters is it explains why some people get trapped in this like meh zones of their life. So like jobs, relationships, habits. This is why I had this idea long ago that I don't know if I spoke about it last week, but it was this understanding that I'm so happy now with the mundane. and I'm comfortable with my life in a way that doesn't bore me, and I feel comfort within it. And I know later on I'm going to have this like aggy, angsty feeling again where I'm like, I have to crumble to succeed or at least to change. But I see this a lot within men. I see this a lot within relationships. They have this thing where a lot of men that I know usually have these massive support systems, and then they crumble everything and they break up with their long-term girlfriends and stuff, so then they can feel that pain even though they don't have to build up from it, because if they're comfortable they're never going to change. Do you understand? It's the same with men fall in love when they're being stressed, and women fall in love when they're being nurtured. So I think I wrote something about this, or at least the understanding of the mundane. I say words too much and then like they sound stupid. Okay. I basically wrote this a couple days ago on September 3rd. I think we've just take a sip of my coffee at like 11 p.m. I think we forget the lives that we've already lived. We disregard them, as if memory was disposable, but really, it's just good to be alive. There's so much beauty in the mundane, the simplicity of every day, the repetition that one can wound a soul and the other one soothe another. When I was younger, I thought the ordinary with clenched fists. I couldn't see the appeal of a slow life, or working in a cafe, wandering on the rivers, hikes, or standing long enough to notice little things. I wanted fire and I wanted chaos. I was relentless, desperate to crack every open box of safety, convinced that only pain could carve me into something worth being. To ache is to be alive, to chase things, people, or substances. And though I don't miss them, but sometimes I miss how they made me feel. The harm caused was nothing compared to the harm I caused myself, devouring the belief that if I wasn't suffering, life wasn't worth living. So I suffered and I struggled, a constant stirring of bruises, until eventually grey. Time passed, as it always does, and without revelation or rescue, something shifted. Not through a lover or a lightning bolt of wisdom, but simply the quieter choosing of a different flavour of thought. As simple as picking a coffee. Now I find it beautiful just to watch the trees change, to see the rain nourish the earth, to notice wrinkles forming on my skin, to feel my heart finally show its fabricating beating. Every day is a story, even if chapters repeat. I crave adventure in the mountains, joy in human error, the warmth of the sun on my skin as I walk the same path I've walked 100 times before. It's the ordinary that teaches me how to breathe, the everyday that reminds me how to yearn for softness, the air that isn't rushed, and truthfully, I've grown more in these past 8 months of gentleness than I have in years of self-torment. So if you ever feel that relentless itch, that urge to claw the walls and the ordinary to go back to its feeling, go back to this feeling. You'll grow out of it one day. The ordinary will make sense and you'll see it for what it is, not a cage, but a kind of freedom. And that's exactly what I think I've struggled with mostly my entire life. I've put myself into situations that I am unhappy in, and I think that's literally just the bare minimum of it. Like, I put myself into situations where I'm uncomfortable with these people, with these relationships, with these jobs that kind of drain me in so many different aspects. So then it pushes me to be the best version of myself. And sometimes I think to myself and I'm like, I was doing so much more. I was producing so much more. I was so much more funny. I was so much more of myself when I was struggling. And sometimes it's hard when I am mentally ill that sometimes I think to myself, maybe I should go back to being crazy. Maybe I should go back to not conforming to these, like, this comfort and conforming to start conforming to chaos and stuff. Maybe I will do better. Maybe I will hit that 2 mil. Maybe I will do this and this and this. And it's a massive cycle of, it's never a cycle of yin yang. It's always a cycle of like slowly tipping myself off a mountain. And it literally just is drop and drop and analytics and studies and this and that and maybe drinking, maybe going into health, maybe doing this. And I realized the best thing for me is just to have some form of like a schedule, but I'm not doing anything to reach anything. It's just a habit. It's just a good habit, Like I go to the gym 3 times a week, or I go to the gym twice a week, and then I always do Pilates on a Friday, every single time. If not, then I do Pilates at least once that week. Then I always have a sweet treat on a Friday or a Wednesday, depending. I always like pick one of those days. I always film on a Monday for my podcast, and I have these little habits that keep me in check, or at least I write in my journal or in my notes app every single morning whilst I'm on the train. And it's constantly these like, I'm going to kill myself. Everything I said did not matter. Everything I said, scratch out the window. Maybe you should just cut yourself, you fucking stupid bitch. Someone came into my room whilst I was being deep. Now I have to go back to being nonchalant. Hey. I'm gonna kill myself. Anyway, now I'm really embarrassed. Like, fuck that shit. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Go research the region beta paradox, because that's really interesting. And if you're ever thinking to yourself, what the fuck am I doing? Follow my Substack, and also go watch Lynn's sign video. It literally is just, this is why you feel stuck in life, and it should be like under Lynn's. It's a very, very, very good video, and it's like 9 minutes long. And yeah, that's all I have to say for today, but I love yous, and I will see you next week. This was a short one.